Welcome to LC Screen Talk. Today we have a special Oscar recap and review edition of the show. My name is Larry, and I want to thank you for coming along and reviewing the biggest night in Hollywood with me. So let's go ahead and start off with the big story, and that is that Birdman swept through Oscar night. Not only did it win Best Picture, but it also won for cinematography, director, and original screenplay. Arguably 4 of the biggest awards it could have won. Really, only Michael Keaton was left out for Best Lead Actor. All of this comes at the expense of Boyhood. Boyhood had so much momentum coming through the early parts of Oscar season, but it just completely died out over the past month or so, and Birdman swooped in and snatched that award straight from the young boy's hands. I enjoyed Boyhood, but I have to say I definitely think Birdman deserved the accolades this year. So outside of the big winner, let's talk about the other biggest part of our Oscar-going experience, and that's the host, who this year was Neil Patrick Harris. Now, I really liked that opening song monologue. I thought Neil Patrick Harris was funny, Anna Kendrick did really well, and then Jack Black just blasted out of nowhere with not only the best part of the song, but the best part of any of the hosting segments throughout the entire show. He was hilarious. But then it all kind of just went downhill. After that initial song, I thought Neil Patrick Harris just fell flat. He tried and he tried with his jokes, and his timing was completely off. His jokes just fell flat on the audience and fell flat on us at home. Like, what was with that suitcase thing? The predictions, it was just terrible, and the end result in no way, shape, or form paid off. It was just cheesy mess. Like, what is this? He required the celebrities in the audience to save him time and time and time again, and it was just kind of painful to watch and made for a very dull Oscars. So everybody who thought Alan was bad last year, sorry to all you NPH superfans, but he disappointed. And I was so excited because I think he's a great host for the Tonys, but apparently that doesn't translate over to the Academy Awards. I will say I did love his Birdman stint. Got him out there in his little tiny whities and all, but glad he committed, and I thought that was probably his other funny gag. But speaking of Jack Black and speaking of Neil Patrick Harris, one thing I did love was the self-awareness of the award show. Neil Patrick opened up right off the bat talking about how white the Oscars were this year, and that they were. Jack Black called out the Academy on the predictable choices and how mundane Hollywood is, how unrisk-taking all of the filmmakers are. And then even beforehand, on the red carpet, was hashtag Ask Her More, which is this campaign that Robin Roberts executed so well about asking female candidates about more than just their dresses, like you do the male candidates in the evening. And then Patricia Arquette slammed it with that opening acceptance speech about equality for women and equal pay, equal opportunity for women. Meryl Streep was up there rooting her on with Jennifer Lopez. So really, self-awareness and equality became the message of the night. As we progressed, Neil Patrick Harris threw out another kind of race awareness thing, with David Oyelowo, and then Glory was just the pinnacle of power right there in the show. I just had goosebumps from that performance, and then John Legend and Common came out and gave a daring, honest, wonderful acceptance speech about today's society and how relevant Selma is, and the fact that Selma's not getting recognized. And, you know, it just was really a poignant speech. And then we went from race to the LGBT community, and we had the speech from the screenwriter of The Imitation Game, and his speech was so wonderful and so impactful, sharing his own story and, you know, the lines of just be weird, stay who you are, and self-love and self-acceptance that transcended beyond just the LGBT community. And all of the suicide talk was a little bit sad, but it also was a little bit empowering and a little bit encouraging to everybody out there struggling. And then finally, Alejandro Inarritu came out, won the 2 big awards, and gave his speech about immigration and immigrants and all of the immigration love and call for reform and for pride in your heritage. It was just wonderful. And I know that this is all great and dandy, but it doesn't quite make up for the fact that this was probably the widest Oscars ever, and here we are in 2015. You know, everybody but straight white men is still getting left out of the picture. The only reason women are included as strongly as they are, I can almost guarantee you, is because they're separated. If we just had best lead acting and best supporting acting, women would probably get the boot. Even with 10 nominees, there would be hardly any women because they're not given good roles. Minorities aren't given good roles. The LGBT community aren't given good roles and aren't even allowed to play gay characters in film. And they certainly aren't allowed to hardly play straight characters. So it's all a frustrating mess. And I was at least encouraged to see that the people being celebrated here decided to use their time on the stage for something more positive. So I'm going to go just truck right along with the performances. I thought Adam Levine was terrible. I'm sorry, that vocal was not good. It was a very disappointing and the worst performance of the night by a mile. Tim McGraw was okay. I thought Rita Ora looked fantastic and sounded really great. I'm usually not a fan of hers, but you go, Rita. The Lego movie was definitely fun, and that pan to Batman was one of my favorite moments of the entire Oscar night. I thought his little segment was really funny. Other than that, it was kind of like this weird, wacky acid trip, but it was new for the Oscars and it was kind of fun. But let's just be real, John Legend and Common stole the show. Like I said, Glory just gave me chills. It had people in the audience crying. It was such a powerful, impactful performance. Just a complete showstopper. And then we had Lady Gaga. I'm still a little bit confused as to why there was a tribute to The Sound of Music and it was really only Lady Gaga singing. But I really was stunned at how great she was. She looked gorgeous. Way better than she looked on the red carpet. And you forget how great of a singer Lady Gaga actually can be until she does something like this. And she completely blew it out of the park and blew me away personally. So before we go into fashion, let's go ahead and talk about the WTF moment of the night. The biggest WTF moment of the night for me was the Sean Penn green card joke. It didn't go over very well. I know Twitter jumped on that quick. And I think it was a joke between friends, but it was still pretty inappropriate. And after all of the goodwill and the love we had been sharing amongst diversity, to have a joke like that be presented for Best Picture was a little bit alarming. I also was like, where is Elaine Stritch and Joan Rivers in the In Memoriam? I know that they're not actors, but they definitely starred in feature films, so it was just pretty shocking to see them not included. John Travolta, really, I mean, why are you grabbing poor Idina Menzel's face? You already put her through enough last year. It was kind of funny, a little bit. But no, John Travolta, you're getting creepy. And when it comes to the awards, overall I got what I expected, but there were definitely 2 WTF results. The first one was Best Animated Feature. I really enjoyed Big Hero 6. I thought it was great. I love the diverse cast, and it's just a fun Disney movie. However, it did not go nearly as deep and nearly as sophisticated as the storytelling of How to Train Your Dragon 2 did. How to Train Your Dragon 2 won the Annie Animation Award, won the Golden Globe, beating out everyone's beloved The Lego Movie, and in my opinion was a superior film. Not just animated film, just a superior film from a storytelling standpoint, from a character development standpoint. It didn't pander down to a children's audience. It just was the best animated feature of 2014. And then Best Original Screenplay. I love Birdman. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was definitely deserving of Best Picture. It was the only choice for me for Best Director that could have won. And Best Cinematography it deserved. it did not deserve Best Original Screenplay. It had a solid screenplay. Of course it was witty. Of course it was sharp. But the Grand Budapest Hotel deserved that award. Wes Anderson's script was so inventive, so creative, so unique that I was just stunned that it didn't win. It was witty, it was smart, it was fast-paced, it kept you interested, and it accomplished so much more. It was a genre-spanning original screenplay. What were you thinking, Academy? So those were my two WTF awards moments. But let's jump into some other what were people thinking awards with fashion. So there were quite a few misses for sure on the red carpet. Richard Linklater's daughter was terrible. That ensemble was just god-awful. I mean, just terrible. And I was not a fan of Jennifer Lopez, but a lot of you were, so I don't know that she necessarily deserves to be put on the worst list per se, but it definitely wasn't on my best list. I think by far the two worst dressed people on the red carpet were Felicity Jones and Lady Gaga. Both wore kind of poofy white dresses, and they were worse for way different ways. Felicity Jones was just a terrible cut. It was poofy with these weird pulled up parts. It just looked so terrible on her, so ill-fitting. It was just a terrible dress, and I was dying watching it walk across the red carpet. And then Lady Gaga literally looked like she was going to a housewives competition. Like she was ready to bake some cakes and clean the oven with those stupid red gloves on her hands. I wasn't a fan of the dress either. Again, I didn't think it fit her body shape all that well. The hair was okay, the makeup was okay, but the gloves just completely murdered it. She looked so beautiful in her performance. Why couldn't that be her red carpet look? And as for the males, Jared Leto looked a fool in that like powder blue washed out denim. Like it just, I mean, it was terrible. It was just terrible. But there were also plenty of people who brought their A game to the red carpet. I loved Reese Witherspoon's simple, elegant look. That dress was so gorgeous, form-fitting, and just classic. I wish she had done something else with her hair because it was just so plain that it brought down the elegance of the dress. But oh, what a fantastic choice of dress. David Oyelowo, I loved that red suit. I need men to take more risks. I'm sick of this black and white tux. At least put a different undercolor shirt, at least a different tie, something. Give me some variation. So to see David Oyelowo coming out in this bold red, he looked wonderful and went with his skin tone so well. I loved it. Speaking of beauties in red, we had Rosamund Pike. Her dress looked like a rose. Oh, get that punny kind of outfitting there. But she just picked a gorgeous dress. It had a beautiful silhouette. It had a lot going on, but all still felt simple and elegant at the same time. So, 2 thumbs up for me. But let's go ahead and get into my top 3 best dressed in no particular order. So, I'm going to go ahead and do gentlemen first this time. And my favorite male look of the night was Eddie Redmayne. That navy suit was so sharp with the black lapels. It just looked fantastic. Some people apparently have problem with blue and black, and I don't understand because the results come out looking this wonderful. Again, he stepped out of the norm. It was still sleek. It was still elegant. Still looked classy to a T. And he looked unique. He stood out amongst all the other boring and bland black and whites out there. As for the ladies, Scarlett Johansson knocked it out of the park for me. That form-fitting green dress looked stunning on her. And then with that gorgeous green neckwear that plunged down her neckline, it just all worked so well. The hair pulled up. It was fantastic. She nailed this look to me. Looked wonderful. Simple with a little pizzazz. Always a good combo. But my favorite dress person of the night was Zoe Saldana. Wow, she looked gorgeous. I don't think anyone even came close. She simply was breathtaking, not only on the red carpet, but when she came out to present her award. She stole the show in that pink peach colored ensemble. Just gorgeous. So, that is my review and recap of the Oscars 2015. Let me know, did you watch the Oscars? What did you think? Did any of the results make you angry. And did you enjoy Neil Patrick Harris's hosting? Let me know in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. Thank you all so much for following along and joining the conversation with me as I live tweeted last night and getting involved on these Oscar videos. Hopefully you enjoyed the Oscar coverage, and if you liked this video, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you're always up to date on our latest videos. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!